Thank you. I think it is just worth my responding to that. I'm a client. I'm beginning to see that being a client is a professionalised activity. And when I eventually retire, I'm going to teach the first master's course in being a client. Because it's a bit like being a parent. You know, I'd be a fantastic parent now if I started all over again. I would be wonderful. But I'm not going to get that chance. Maybe my children might allow me to try being a grandparent, and I know that's different. So, you know, you learn what you learn, you become who you are, and that's true as a client. I think that if I did one thing differently, it would have been within my first week at Wells to start thinking about a master plan, and I mean a site plan. I don't mean a development plan for the school, because of course you do that, but a master plan. I wish that Sir Colin had helped me understand the spaces between a lot earlier. He didn't, because I didn't ask him. I didn't know him. So, you know, there are things that you learn along the way. And of course, you then learn that this is an iterative process and that actually it can change. And I think those of you who deal with clients do realize that a lot of us somehow feel that at some point it all gets fixed and it can never change, and that there's kind of almost a sort of status control credibility thing about that. That's rubbish. Because you develop as the ideas develop. Now, of course, for any particular project, there has to become a position at which it gets fixed. Of course there does. But in terms of your overall master plan, it has to change and it has to iterate. And one of the interesting things about Sir Colin's master plan for Wells is that there's a kind of building in it. There's just a building sort of there. It's in a really difficult place. It's on a part of the site that we don't own. It'll mean knocking down all sorts of ugly bits but that at the moment are really important to us. It may involve creative destruction of a singularly inappropriate science building, which actually was somebody's pride and joy not long ago. However, we keep on the one bit of the master plan, Sir Colin, that almost every week somebody comes into my room and says, you know, that building, well, why don't we think about doing this with it? Now, that's really creative. But at the same time, you have to have the fixed process for the individual projects, as for one reason or another you've decided to do them. But Martin's absolutely right. It makes that quick work when suddenly you've got to house X more people because your business plan indicates that you need to do that, much easier if you're having lots of continuing conversations, so the neighbours don't all have conniptions and you don't suddenly have to bring the local press on board because you're just doing it. So the one thing I would do differently would be to start doing it in theory from day one, and then think about what it really meant and what the buildings were really going to be. I thought about just buildings that I needed instead of a whole site plan. So that's going to be the first module of my MA course, and I welcome you all to it one day.